Hi everyone, my name is Nell and welcome to my tiny studio. You know what it is. It's Saturday evening, April the 2nd, 2022, and it's time for Love and Marriage Huntsville, the review. And I'm going to crochet. This is a crochet and chat review. So go and grab your work and come on back so we can talk about what we saw tonight, child. Okay, so I told you the last time we talked that I was going to crochet some towels for my kitchen. That I already crocheted some red towels and some red scrubbies, and I'm now going to crochet some gray towels for my kitchen because the color scheme is red, gray, and black. And I'm in the process of crocheting my my gray dishcloth. I don't know why I keep saying I'm going to crochet a red dish towel. I keep saying that. This is not the first time. I've edited myself saying this twice before. So I don't know. Maybe I need to crochet another red dish towel. You know how that goes. Sometimes the universe, tells you something, and instead of sitting back and fighting it, I'm just going to get some more red cotton yarn and crochet another red towel for the kitchen. But in the meantime, I am crocheting this dish towel, and I am using Premier Home 85% recycled cotton. And I wanted to try this brand out because, I wanted to see, I've never used recycled cotton before, so I wanted to try it out and see what it feels like. And I have to say, once I started, it was a little difficult because it kept unraveling on me, and I really dislike that. I really dislike that when I'm crocheting. It's when when the yarn unravels on me. But once I got started, and here it is right here. Once I got started, I was able to continue and move forward, and occasionally, the cotton would begin to unravel, but, I was able to continue forward. I'm going to put my yarn into my little yarn bowl, and this is my yarn bowl. And you may say, that doesn't look like a yarn bowl, Nell. And I know it doesn't look like your traditional yarn bowl, but this is my yarn bowl. This was the container that the popcorn came in when I went to see Wonder Woman 84. Yes, this was the container that it came in, and I have two. So I decided, instead of me sitting around and, trying to buy these high-priced wood yarn balls, why don't I just use what I have? And I adored this movie. As you see, it says Wonder Woman, WW84, Wonder Woman in theaters. Only in theaters, so I'm excited about that. I was excited about it. I was very much excited about it. I don't have on any makeup tonight. I just have on some regular, some lip gloss and whatnot. The same lip gloss that I usually wear anyhow. But it's late, It's late. So the only thing that I'm doing is, I have some earrings on, and, after this, I'm going to hop into bed and watch some Bridgerton, child. Yes, I is. Okay, so I have my yarn in my bowl, or my container, that I call my yarn bowl. And I'm going to sit it down here. And did you grab your work? So were you able to check out Love and Marriage Huntsville this evening? I'm not going to tarry too long, they say. But I felt I'm not going to go in order. I'm not going to go in order as, frame by frame, scene by scene by scene, in the order that it was presented, to viewers. I'm just going to go by, I'm just going to let you know what is so, I'm just going to talk about what is very, very fresh in my mind right now. And as you can see, I'm a little frustrated and irritated. And I'm irritated and frustrated because I don't know who to believe. I don't know if I should believe Melanie. I don't know if I should believe Martell. All I know was that there was a book signing of a book that the Hope children authored, and they were not present at the signing. I feel some kind of way about this whole situation, and if you are new to the show and this is your first season watching Love and Marriage Huntsville, the Hope, Melody and Martell Holt were a married couple, and they enjoyed 13 years of marriage bliss until maybe a year and a half ago, and they filed for separation and divorce. I believe that recently the divorce came true. If that's not so, please go ahead in the comment section and let me know that I am incorrect. But I really think that they are divorced now. However, they have 4 children. And their divorce, their separation and divorce was very, very, very public and very scandalous because Martell, there were allegations of cheating and outside children. I'm just going to be brief like that. So there has been a lot of tension, a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of anger that is going on in this relationship. And now these 2 people have to parent. So the children authored or co-authored a book with their dad, Martell. And his side is he let Melody know that the signing was on such and such a date, and that even though the date fell on the week that she had the children as established by the courts, he still wanted her to bring the children to their book signing. Melody's side of the story is that she received a late notice of the book signing, and that she and Martell had a discussion or discussions previously about him orchestrating events and activities for the children on his week off, which would be her legal week to be with the children. Martell said that he had texted her repeatedly that day. He called her repeatedly that day to remind her of the signing, and she did not respond. So you have a situation where the children ended up not being present for their own book signing. Let me take a drink of water for this. See, I feel some kind of way about this. I really do. Because once again, the parents in this situation are only thinking about themselves and not their children. And I hate sometimes having to say something negative about a black mom because I'm a black mother, and I hate to be the person or be a mom that has to be critical of another black mother, because I feel that as a black mom, we don't know it all, and we don't always get it right, and we make mistakes. But I think that some mistakes that we make as black parents, no, I think that sometimes we make choices as parents, and those choices are selfish and self-serving, and the children are the ones that suffer because of our choices. And that's what I think about this situation, because Melody had decided, she gave us this excuse, which is a valid one, that she wanted to spend time with her family because her family has suffered 2 deaths. And I get that. But Melody also told us that she had the opportunity to see her family the previous weekend or the previous week. So I don't understand why she could not have, before heading out of town to see her mother and her family, why she couldn't have stopped by the book signing and allowed the kids to enjoy being an author, being a published author. I know that the publicist, and I think her name is Mel as well, she kind of alluded to something where she said that sometimes in a divorce, if there are many sides of the truth, there's her side, his side, and then there's the truth. So while Martell is saying that, hey, I emailed Mel, weeks in advance. I communicated with her about the timing and everything of this book signing and blah, blah, blah. While that is true, I also see Mel's side of this, which is also, for me, what he is doing in a way is a matter of control. And I can understand how Mel feels that, hey, you planned an event on the week that I'm spending time with the children. Why couldn't you have planned the event to fall on your week with the kids? And that is a very valid point. But even still, and here's something that I find true a lot in life. Even though you can be technically right, you can also still be wrong. So, yes, Martell did schedule an event for the children on his week off, which was your week on with the kids. Yes, that's wrong. Yes, you have discussed this before. However, you said that it would take you 4 hours to get to wherever it is that your mother resides, Melody. You could not just take 1 hour of time to swing by the book signing and allow the kids to have their shine and then just go. And then talk to your court appointed mediator about this continuous situation with Martell scheduling things, scheduling events with the children on his week off. I just say there's a way to handle everything, and even though you may be right in a situation, of which Melody is right, but to me, she was wrong for not swinging by the book signing and allowing the children to have their shine for an hour. What would have hurt? And see, this is the ongoing thing about the Holtz. They just argue and fight over the pettiest of things. The pettiest of things. And I understand, that sometimes, exes cross the line, and in Martell's situation, he's having a really hard time with accepting the fact that his marriage and his family life as he knew it to be is over. And I understand that sometimes husbands and wives or exes, they still like to be in control of situations. And that's a problem. You can't be in control of someone that doesn't want you in their life. You can't control a situation. You can't tell your ex-wife what to do, because Melody is not your wife. She's not your girlfriend. She is your ex. And you cannot control what she does, where she goes, and how she spends her time. But when she is spending time with the children, that shouldn't be your moment to live out a fantasy, to relive the glory days of being married and being a whole family unit. So while I felt sorry for Martell, he was wrong. While I understand where Melody was coming from, guess what? She was wrong. I don't see what it would have hurt to swung those kids over there to that book signing. I just don't. But, you know, Melody is messy anyway. Melody is messy anyway. That's, you know, that's her character on this show. That's what she does. So we have to expect it, right? Speaking of going away, Kimmy and Maurice were talking today, well, in this episode, about going on their honeymoon. You see, they didn't get a chance to have a honeymoon. And I think they've been married for 3 years now. So now they are preparing to go on their honeymoon. And as Kimmy prepared to, you know, prepared her luggage and attempted to figure out what she was, you know, going to take with her, she proceeds to discuss with Maurice the events that took place at the Pajama Jam. And she lets him know about the situation that went down between her and Miss Tiffany, and how she feels that they're good now, and that they had a little situation at first with that stormy situation. But anyhow, Kimmy was like, hey, we good. But what she told Maurice was that Letitia and Destiny were not invited, but there was one person that happened to be at the Pajama Jam too that should not have probably been there. And who was that? That would be Kiki. And you know, I did not remember her name from last week, but this week I remember her name. Kiki. Kiki is Letitia's cousin. So Kimmy begins to tell Maurice that, hey, Kiki was there, and not only was Kiki at the Pajama Jam, that Kiki had some, you know, opinions and comments to make about Letitia and Marcel's marriage, which of course, you know, Kimmy was like, hey, you know, I don't know why Kiki was there. Neither do we. But that's a problem. Maurice also suggested to Kimmy that, you know, they get to know Tiffany and get to know her and Louis outside of what they may have said, things that may have been said about them, and outside of what others may feel about Tiffany and Louis. And Kimmy said, hey, I know how to get all sides of the story. I know how to I know how to judge people based on my own assessment and not someone else's. And of course, we all know Kimmy is a pro at doing that. But I thought that was interesting too, that Kiki was at that party. I don't know the backstory on Kiki. I do know that another blogger has said, do you guys watch Funky Deneva or Funky Deneva? I watch Funky Deneva often, and he was saying that Kiki is the cousin that wanted him to interview her. And he had declined the interview because of some stuff that went down, I think, with all this with a blog saying, with a blog and I think this blogger also had a YouTube channel, and there was this rumor that came out that they started allegedly that Marceau had outside children, and this cousin of Letitia's wanted to, I guess, sit down and have a conversation with Funky Geneva, and he turned her down. But last week, Funky Geneva said that he wanted to interview her. He said he was ready, because I'm guessing we all want to know what type of backstabbing cousin is she, you know? I mean, come on now. I mean, I know that my cousin is having some issues with one of her friends, okay? I know this. I know there have been words said and shots fired. I know all of this. And then all of a sudden, the friend invites me to her party but doesn't invite my cousin. Okay, so what would I do? I wouldn't go. As a matter of fact, what I would do is I will go to my cousin and say, hey girl, and I think I talked about this last week. I would say, hey girl, hey cousin, you know, so and so invite, or let me just do it like this. I would be like, if Letitia was my cousin, I'd be like, hey Letitia girl, how you doing? You doing good? Yeah, how are the kids? They doing all right? How's Marceau? He's doing okay too? Yeah, I saw that picture he put up on Instagram. You know that wasn't right, huh? Right? Okay, you don't want to talk about that? Okay, all right, fine, that's fine. But listen, girl, I got this phone call from your girl, Melody. Yeah, Melody Ho. I got this phone call from Melody, and she's inviting me to her pajama jam next Saturday. Right. I think they're going to be filming this for the show. Yeah. So, she also told me that she hadn't invited you to the Jammy Jam. Right. Okay, so what I want to know is, I really wanted to go to the Pajama Jam. All right, I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to go to the Pajama Jam, and yes, I do want to be on camera. I do want to be part of the filming. Yes, I really do. But what I want to know is, I want to know how you feel about it. Do you think that I should go? How do you feel about, me going to the Jammy Jam? That's all you have to do. You see what I'm saying? That's all this woman Kiki had to do. All she had to do was call her cousin up and ask her. And because I'm trying to tell you, if my cousin was having some issues with somebody that she used to call a friend, and then I see this reunion on television, and at the reunion, or I'm trying to say, I'm thinking that the reunion probably hadn't aired at the time, but I'm sure she was privy to what happened at the reunion, because I'm sure Wanda probably told everybody. But she knew that Letitia and Melody did not end on good terms. Not really. So with that in mind, why in the world would she attend this Pajama Jam like that? And then on top of that, why would she attend the Pajama Jam and then have to, sit back and have some type of commentary about Marceau and her cousin? I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me. But, that's a reckoning that's going to be happening on next week's episode, when Kiki is going to have a little sit down with her cousin, and her cousin's going to probably ask her the same question, because I know I would. But anyhow, I don't think that I think Kimmy and Tiffany are going to get along, but I think that what Tiffany is going to have to do is, if she really wants to get along with Kimmy, screw Destiny, no, don't even worry about being friends with Destiny, child. But if she wants to be friends with Kimmy, then what Tiffany is going to have to do is she's just going to have to be straightforward, keep the slick talk down, and be herself. That's it. And to me, being yourself does not mean that you get to sit back and judge everybody and have commentary about everybody else's marriage, and you trying to portray the role of your marriage being all that, because nobody likes people who try to portray themselves as perfect, because we all know right off the bat that none of us are perfect, and none of us are in the best or the most perfect relationship. How could we? How can we if we're all imperfect and imperfectly flawed individuals, right? So speaking about Tiffany, transparency, and imperfectly flawed individual, Tiffany and Louis have a scene together where they're discussing, Tiffany is discussing what happened at the Pajama Jam. She talks about how Stormy interjected herself into the conversation last week, and she talks about how she did not like it. Well, of course, I wouldn't like it either, because that was, I like Stormy, sort of, but that was kind of unnecessary. But it was good TV. It was good TV, especially when Kimmy said, oh, you trying to be smart. That was hilarious. And then when Stormy broke the fourth wall and looked into the camera was like, this bit right here. I thought that was hilarious, and that's probably going to go down in reality TV history. Because that was crazy. But Tiffany and her husband Louis had a conversation about Marceau, and come to find out that Tiffany and Louis and Marceau knew each other, or know each other, or go way back, have some type of history together. Because the homie Louis was like, I'm not taking this crap off of Marceau because I know him. I know that brother. And I know he's not getting pithy with me. And Tiffany was trying to calm her man down, because she trying to do some romantic stuff for the evening. She don't want him to get his blood pressure up and get him popping off and going off, especially in front of the cameras. And then, Louis will say something that he'll regret, and then once again they'll be on the hot seat at the reunion. See, Tiffany, she not slick. See, we know what Tiffany trying to do. See, she's trying to control the narrative on camera. I understand what she's trying to do. She's trying to control it. See, she only wants so much put on film. All right. So she's censoring herself. And in this episode, in this scene, she's trying to censor her husband. But Louis is like, hey, I'm just saying, I'm not going to be taking this mess off nobody. And especially not Marceau. I'm just not. I don't care who he thinks he is. So I don't know. Do I like Tiffany? I started out really not liking her, and that goes back to the episode where, last season when she walks into the room and she's introduced and she breaks out and proceeds to tell Maurice's Maurice and Kimmy's stepson's business. And I kind of was like, huh? I mean, how you just gonna come into a group and you're gonna just sit there and tell everybody's business like that? That wasn't your business to tell. You're gonna gossip about my child? You're gonna gossip about my stepchild at a birthday party for an individual that you don't even know? As a matter of fact, you don't know me, all right? You didn't know Destiny, but you came right out the gate talking crap at my expense. You don't know me from Adam, but here you go talking about my stepson like that. And so immediately I was like, oh, I don't like this lady. I don't like her. And then the fact that, she and her husband spent the season trying to tell everybody else how they should conduct themselves in their marriage, and we still don't know anything about you, that was suspect too. And the reason why they did that, that was on purpose. That was to control the narrative. That was to control the amount of information that came out about them on film, on camera. So I know what they were doing. I know why they kept mum or kept tight-lipped on their situation, on their marriage, because they don't want all the skeletons to come falling out the closet. And see, here's the thing about reality TV. Okay, if you think that you're going to be able to keep those skeletons that you have under lock and key in your closet, I'm going to let you know something. They're not going to stay in there for long. So if I was you, Tiffany, and if I was you, Louis, whatever skeletons you have in your closet, which I hope what you did was you took those bad boys out, gave them a bath, painted them, put them on a suit, a tie, a nice ball gown, and stuck a flower in their mouth. Because it's better when you present your own skeletons, because you can dress it up. It's better when you present your own skeletons than to let somebody else pull those bad boys out that closet. Because trust me, this is reality TV and this is the era of social media. So there's somebody who knows something somewhere. So anyhow, Louis told Tiffany that Martell wants him to get together with Marceau to have some type of conversation about what happened at the reunion and see if they can get together and get on the same page and get rid of all of these bad feelings that they had between each other. So we'll see how that turns out. I think that is going down next week, I guess. Oh, speaking of Marceau and Maurice meets up at Black. Yes. And they have a conversation. They continue the conversation that, what Maurice called an intervention. They continue the conversation at Black. And Maurice says, hey man, you owe me an apology. And Marceau's like, why? Why do you think I owe you an apology? Okay. I don't owe you an apology. And then he says this line, and I'm kind of paraphrasing it a little bit. And I think I'm going to go back and watch it again because Marceau says, hey, yes, I posted that picture, but you said the way you answered the question. And see, this is the thing about editing, okay? And because the question was, have you ever seen, did you ever see Martell interact with his mistress? Did you ever see them interact together? Or have you ever seen did you ever see the relationship or no other relationship? All of that, that in general. And what Marceau said yes, and Maurice said no. Okay, so Maurice is saying now that when he said no, what he meant was, no, I've never seen them interact together. And I have to agree with Marceau on this. Hey man, everybody there in the room knew you were, in Atlanta on the boys' trip with us. So you were there. You were not only there, but you did see Martell interacting with his mistress. You did see that. So in a way, you're still caught up in a lie. And Marie said, well, don't you see what this looks like, man? You threw me up under the bus. And Marceau said, hey, but do you understand what non-lying people see? Non-lying people see that you lied, Maurice. And Marceau was absolutely correct on that. Because I don't know if it was the editing that was kind of strange, because that is true. Kimmy knew, all of them knew about the boys' trip, but what they did not know was that the mistress, the girlfriend, was on the trip. That's what people didn't know. And for Maurice to sit back and say, hey, I never seen them interact before, of course that's BS. Because you did. Even if it was for 2 seconds when she took the picture of all of you guys there. You seen them interact. So you, in essence, knew. Which is the question. And when Martell shows up, Martell says, yeah, he agreed with Maurice. And he was like, yeah, Marceau, you did. You threw your brother under the bus. Yes, you did do that. And, I'm trying to figure out, too, why did you post that picture? Maybe you shouldn't have done that. And Marceau is like, well, what do you mean? And, Martell is like, well, what about Kimmy? When you posted that picture, did you think about Letitia? Did you think about Kimmy? And so Marceau was like, well, hey, Letitia is good. No, he said Letitia is fine. And Maurice said, yeah, Letitia is fine until she isn't. Or was it Marceau? But one of them said, yeah, Letitia or Kim, Letitia is fine until she isn't. And I think Maurice said that. Because I was like, yeah. You saying that she's fine. And, people are fine until they're not. So Martell, they're having this conversation, which I thought was a really, a real conversation among men. Because the thing is like, I believe it was Martell that said this, or was it Marceau? One of them said, well, hey man, if you didn't want me, which I think is kind of dumb, but if you didn't want me to post this picture and throw you up under the bus, why didn't you say so? Or, why didn't we have a conversation, all of us, where we got our stories together and not be guilty of breaking, boy code or man code. It was something like that, and because the man code was broken, especially when Marceau posted that picture. That was a breaking man code for real. Now I think that was Martell who said that. Hey man, you broke man code when you posted that picture. But I don't know. We cut away again to Marceau and Letitia having a conversation. And what I enjoyed about this episode is that we got a chance to see the children a little bit. Marceau and Letitia's children, they have a very handsome 15-year-old son. And they were talking about taking a family trip together. And that would be a family trip to Africa. And I'm supposing that since homie already went, that he would be some type of expert or guide, I suppose. I don't know. But they're supposed to be taking a trip to Africa. In real time, on Instagram, Monique Samuels posted a few pictures of their African trip. And she talked about how much she misses Africa. And it must have really, and I've heard a lot of people say that going to Africa, visiting Africa, just really, leaves an imprint on your heart. And so that's what Monique Samuels was talking about. She was talking about how she can't wait to go back, and about how it just left that print, that imprint on her heart and her soul, and she wants to go back. So in the comments, Letitia says, commented saying she wants to go to Africa. And so Monique says, well, hey, then we need to plan a trip and we need to go, right? We need to plan this trip and go. And we need to leave Marceau here. We need to leave Marceau at home and go to Africa, plan a whole trip. And of course, Letitia said, no, we have to bring him along too, because, he'll help watch the kids while we over there. Okay, Letitia. Whatever you say, sis. And see, I don't even want to think that, I want to believe that all of this talk about Marceau being a cheater, I want to believe that that's all just gossip and that it's not true, and that it's really just made up storyline for the television show, for the reality series. That's what I want to think, because I don't think that Letitia is dumb. Even though it seems like she's playing this role of, a wife that is so dedicated to her husband, regardless of what's facing her, or regardless of what she hears, regardless of what everyone suspects, that she's just, down with her man for whatever. And I don't think there's anything wrong with a wife being down for their husband, and when you are on a reality TV show and you're subject to rumors and innuendos and things of that nature, yeah, it's easy for people to sit back and throw darts disguised as lies, or lies disguised as darts at your marriage to break it down. That's just the nature of the beast. But what is really unfortunate is that the boy code that Martell, Maurice, and Marceau were talking about in the opening scenes of this episode makes me wonder, And when Letitia asked Marcel, where did her mother hear that, or why did her mother bring up the rumor that he had his own apartment, or a secret apartment, or he shared a secret apartment with Martell, you know, he acted like, well, I don't know where that rumor came from. Probably the same person who said I had outside babies. And he said, you know, hey, I have distinct identification, you know, on my cars and on my vehicles. So if there's proof that I have an apartment, then my vehicle should be in the parking lot or somewhere around in front of that apartment. That should be the proof, but there is no proof of that. And I heard what he was saying. But, you know, there is such thing as a cab and Uber and Lyft, though. Right? I don't know. I don't like it when Marcel make excuses, and I don't like it when he says, well, you know, if I was doing this, this is how you would know, and blah, blah, blah. I don't like that. I'm kind of with Wanda on this situation. Birds of a feather flock together. And what did he say last week? I'm not doing any flocking. He said, I'm not doing any flocking. And Wanda was like, yeah, you are. I think you are. And you know what? Maybe he's not. Let's all give Marcel the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's not doing any flocking. But we do know that there is a boys, I should say boys club. We do know that those three, Marcel, Martell, and Maurice, do have a boys code that they follow. Marcel broke it with posting that picture. But did Martell also break it during season 1, or was it season 2, when he told when he said that he didn't understand or didn't know why Marcel was, you know, acting all self-righteous and pointing the fingers at him, at him being a bad husband, when Marcel has skeletons in his closet, when Marcel has been cheating just as much as him. I don't know. Remember, that was also the same reason, or that was also the basis of the reason why Melody and Tisha fell out. Because Melody told her that. She told her what Martell told her. And Melody said, hey, Letitia was like, hey, now you trying to destroy my marriage. We not playing that game. Your husband's a cheater, not my husband. Your husband. I don't know. Do you think we're going to get past all of this nonsense and get to some good stuff? Whatever that may be. I think I would like to see what's going to happen between Tiffany and Kimmy, or Destiny, Tiffany and Melody. I like to see that. I like to know how Stormy is going to fit into this group. I want to know or understand how Melody and Martell can come to some type of agreement and get past this pain and this grief and this anger, because there's a lot of anger. And even though Melody says, oh, guess what, I've moved on, I have moved on with my life, I'm doing this, I'm doing A, B, and C, you know, I'm making music, I'm making songs about my heartbreak, I'm doing everything I can to move forward and be a good mom to my children. You know, even though these things are happening for Melody, I know that it takes time to get over someone that you loved with everything you had. Everything. It takes a lot to get past that. Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. And even though we see Melody moving forward, based on what I've seen, based on tonight's episode, I think that she's having a rather difficult time in moving forward. Because I believe that if she had really moved forward with her life and gotten over some of that hurt and bitterness and anger and frustration and pain and rage that she has for Martell, she would have brought those kids up there to that book signing. I mean, she was going to have the children for an entire week. Well, she had the children for an entire week. An hour. An hour at the book signing wouldn't have hurt anyone. If anything, it have made the children glad. It have made the children feel secure. Because they would have seen both of their parents working together. And after that book signing, after I had taken the kids to the book signing, if I was Melody, I would go to my attorney and I would request a meeting or mediation. And it will have to be put on the record again, my feelings as to Martell orchestrating events with the children that fall during my scheduled week. And that's all you can do. Because see right here, even though Melody was technically right, she was wrong as two left shoes. And if Martell was wrong, and he is wrong, guess what? He comes out looking like a hero. He comes out looking like a defeated father, like a father who really wants to be there for his children. He looks like that dad who is being mistreated for just trying to be a good pops. That's how tonight's episode came across. It doesn't come across making Melody look like she is, you know, that understanding good mom. It makes her look petty as hell. It really does. And of course, Melody may think that she was the winner in this situation. But in actuality, the kids are the losers. And that's That's what I have an issue with. I really do. So, that was tonight's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville. If I left anything out, please do not hesitate to drop down in the comment section and apprise me of what I forgot to mention. Also, how do you feel about the situation with Melody and Martell this evening? How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts? Just go ahead and sound off in the comment section and let me know what you think. Okay? So, I hope that you were able to accomplish a little bit this evening. An hour has passed, and here is what I have so far. So that's about what I want to say. I've completed maybe about 5 more rows in between talking. So hopefully by the time we get back together, I will have finished this. And not only that, I would have added the trim to this dish towel or dishcloth. And hopefully by the time you see this again, I will have created 4 of them, because that's my goal, is to create 4 dish towels for the kitchen. So by the time you see me again, hopefully I will have 2 completed with the trim. I hope so. I'm going to hold myself accountable, and you can hold me accountable too. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's episode, or tonight's review of Love and Marriage Huntsville in the tiny studio. Thank you so much. I'm Nell. Don't forget to subscribe, and also please hit the like button for me. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. I'm going to grab my slouchy hat, and I know it's around here somewhere, and I'm getting ready to put my slouchy hat on, and I'm getting ready to watch some Bridgerton and drink some tea and go to bed, y'all. Have a wonderful evening, okay? Good night.